We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet to share these conversations on the Vegan Compass podcast.
We extend our respect to elders past and present, as well as any of our listeners and guests. Hello and welcome to the Vegan Compass podcast, unveiling truths, inspiring change. We are your hosts, Rick Allport and Mackenzie Cross.
From wherever you're listening, please be sure to like and subscribe to support this podcast. Now to the episode.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Vegan Compass podcast. We're so excited to be here with you today, your co-hosts Rick Allport and Mackenzie Cross.
And how are you today, Mackenzie?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am very well, and we are very honoured to be on location.
Yes.
This is our first on-location episode, and maybe this might give you an idea that we're in a restaurant with really good
Italian
espresso.
If you're a Sydney local, the background might look familiar.
Yes, it might. And if it doesn't look familiar, then you need to make it look familiar by coming here. So today we're very excited because we have with us today from Don Fred, Lorenzo. So Lorenzo.
Hello everyone.
I've got two questions for you.
Please.
Who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? I'm not even sure. That's a 49-year-old question. But I was born in Italy. I've been in Australia since 2001. I always have been involved in food, even growing up. My mom and dad are extremely good in the kitchen. Dad used to do a little bit of work as well, never as a full-timer, but always for passion. Mom has always cooked for a million people, but never for work. But I guess my first picture in the kitchen, I was probably 2 years of age. And I was hanging on my toes, stirring the pot with my dad. And that was the first time I think I fell in love with the stove.
That's really nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah, I've never been cooking worthy. I can't say it. Like a little story, when my wife is Filipino, and when she came to Australia, I thought I did a really nice thing. I cooked what I thought was a really nice meal for her on her first night, made it as special as I could, and we ate the meal, and I thought it was pretty good. And I looked at her and I said, "So, what did you think?" And she said, "I think I'll do the cooking from now on."
Yay! That's a good start.
I love cooking. I wouldn't say I'm good at it though. It's more of a meditative practice for me to just get away from work and do something in the kitchen. Yeah.
Funny we said that because for me it's always been a hobby. It's something that I always loved to the point that I couldn't see that as a job. And although I've been working in restaurants forever, I was always on the floor as a main maitre d' or whatever it was. And I always looked at the chefs in the kitchen and I thought, wow, poor bastards, taking orders from anyone and just having to do it as a job. But then eventually, when I went vegan many years ago, I thought maybe I should use my passion and a little bit of knowledge to sort of offer something different to the public, and that's what we are here for.
Yeah, amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about Don Fred?
Yeah, so as you probably know, I was working at GG for many years. As a matter of fact, I started in 2012, and then in 2015, Marco, his family, and all together we've taken Marco before anybody else the decision to step forward and get rid of all animal products from the pizzeria. And there was September 2015, and I gone vegan myself probably 6 months prior because of the information that I came across, and all of the above that we all know. And then after many years of success of Gigi, COVID came about, and I've opened a little food truck in Marrickville with the wrong people, the wrong scenario. Sometimes you sort of trust the vegan appearance, and then it comes across being exactly the opposite, in terms of values. And I just waited for COVID to sort of fade away, and had the opportunity to find this little shop that was really run down. So we had to do everything from A to Z, including bathrooms and kitchen. And so I sort of built it the way I wanted, the way I was wanting to feel comfortable myself before any of the staff members or any of the customers ever walked in. I just wanted to create something that is everybody's lounge, everybody's kitchen. I didn't want it to look like a place where you sort of, feel it's got to have to be your kitchen, your home. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to present a bill at the end of the dinner for obvious reason. But I really hope that everybody feels that way. If you're coming on a hot date and you want to dress up, I think you're welcome to do so. I'm saying welcome by the vibe and the experience, not welcome by me. You can do whatever you want. But also, if you're coming from the beach and you're wearing your thongs and a towel, and you also should feel very comfortable because it's your house.
Well, you've definitely succeeded. I remember the first time I came here when Mackenzie said, "Hey, we need to go to Don Fred," and I'm like, "Oh, I've never been before," and she said, "Well, now you're coming." And I walked in, I went, like you said, I just feel at home.
Yeah.
It
good.
was just that beautiful atmosphere. It was friendly. You yourself were so welcoming.
You got me on a good day.
But it really is. It's just got this sensational vibe about it. And, people need to come here. And of course, Mackenzie was saying, "What do you want for dinner?" And I'm sort of looking through the menu, and there's so many great options. And she's going, "How about the banquet? How about the banquet? How about the banquet?" And I'm going, "Oh, yeah, maybe. But there's so many other good things." And she's going, "How about the banquet? How about the banquet?"
You get to try everything with the banquet, Rick.
Most of it.
I got to tell you, we went with the banquet. It was the best decision ever. Oh my goodness.
Thank
the
you.
food here is just sensational. I can't speak more highly of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So, taking you back a little bit, how old were you when you first got into the whole restaurant scene?
Oh, look, I was still at school in Italy, and I was working in the summer season, so I would have been 17, 18. And then I finished school. Then I went to the UK, I think. I was about 18, 19. And so in Italy, in Trieste, my town, I was working in very high-end restaurants. And to me, that was the only way that you work in a restaurant. This is, basic rules, basic manners. When I went to UK, I had a good sort of position straight away, although my English was very limited. Not that it's much better now, but it was a nice restaurant. And I stepped in and I looked at everybody and I thought, oh my Lord, if my ex-boss sees you guys doing this, he's going to lose his hair in one go. Nothing was what I learned. Everything was new to me, but not to be judgmental, but new in a very negative way. Touching cutlery with your hands and, I don't know, grabbing glasses with your hands and things that, were absolutely forbidden, prohibited in the restaurants that I came from and I learned. And anyway, that was my first experience overseas, and then from then I went to the States. America was even worse, but by then I thought, all right, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it is. And then I went back to Italy. A friend of mine opened a restaurant then again, and he asked me to help him at the start. The start became probably 2 years. We had fun, and then I came to Australia for a bit of a travel with my ex-partner whose relatives were in Adelaide, and we had the opportunity to travel around. got myself little jobs here and there. But as a matter of fact, when I came back to stay in 2001, because I'm also a makeup artist by trade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I sort of liked it when I don't know why.
I'll
but
get you
sure.
to touch up my face at some point. Yeah,
I think I lost those skills. But I did work in a sort of beauty salon here in the city, and for about 1.5 to 2 years, and that's how I got my first sort of sponsorship to stay here, and then I went back in restaurants and catering. I was doing a lot of private cooking for people, and I liked it a lot. Gave me a lot of free time, and I could manage my time the way I wanted. But then you sort of, if you want to grow the business, becomes a catering company, and that's very demanding. Like, you can't just, stay little. At some point, someone is going to want a table for 100, and you say, no, I can't do it. This I can't do it. So if you only stick to tables of 10 and 15, you can't go much further. But that's okay. And then pretty much after a few years on and off, and I went to Gigi.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had no idea you were a makeup artist. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. So, I guess there's a couple of places we could go from here. I was going to ask you a little bit more about growing up in Italy, because I've never been to Italy. I guess it's quite a meat and dairy heavy diet traditionally, isn't it?
It is, but so is all the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And Italy makes it worse in somehow, because we're so finicky and so stubborn and so proud of our food culture that, in the moment that you challenge it, it sort of becomes offensive. Where a country that's got less of a attachment to the feelings in the kitchen, then you can sort of introduce something new without being judged and attacked. Having said that, this is the reason why I opened on Fred. I'm absolutely convinced that you can be very, very finicky Italian food lover and provider, yet in a plant-based way. And this what made me really excited about open this. And maybe 30 to 40% of my customers are Italian, most of them not vegan. And and we don't have the problem, because then again it works the other way. We're so finicky and in love with our flavors that we don't really question them too much. Do I like it? Yes. Does it make me feel like home? Yes. Was it fresh and served with all the passion and love? Yes. All right. Today I'm having mushrooms. Tomorrow, if I want to have prosciutto, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. But that doesn't take away the Italian finickiness.
Yeah, and the Italian flavour and the Italian feel. And I mean, that's the thing too. You walk in here and you do feel like you've come into an Italian house. You've got that. Yeah, there's just everything about this that gives you that ambience that is really amazing. But I'm going to ask you the name, Don Fred. So tell me I'm sure there's a story behind this. It's an interesting name.
So Alfredo was a family member, a relative, who went to New York in the early 60s. So I never met the guy. But then I overheard in the years that this guy, Alfredo, went to New York and had some sort of food business in the 60s, throughout the 70s. And I understand that some sort of cousin of his went to New York, maybe mid-70s, to see the guy for the first time. At that point we didn't have WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram. So, you would see these relatives maybe once or twice again in your lifetime. And apparently she came back saying, the restaurant is doing really well. I think it's got money, it drives nice cars, but it looks dodgy. Everyone in this restaurant was a man, most of them with a gun. That's what she said. We don't even know if it's true or not. So I would imagine this person to be a bit of a, Italian. I don't think he was a gangster himself, but because it was providing food to the Bronx in the mid 60s and 70s, I would imagine most of the customers to be that sort of crowd, and he would have to learn how to handle that and probably stick his head out, and and that's where the mangia e zitto comes from. Mangia e zitto means eat and shut up. This is something that all our mums will say if playing or arguing on a dinner table. Now it's mangia e zitto, eat and shut up, then we talk about it. And that's used also if the men are talking about politics. Someone will say, now mangia e zitto, now enjoy your food, and then we talk about it. So for this guy to be able to say that to perhaps a very tough crowd, you would have to be a tough man, I guess. And that's where the name Don Fred comes from. If he was sort of involved with these people, then Alfredo in America becomes Fred, and then Don, whether it was used because it was really a Don, which I doubted very, very much, or as a sort of way to say, oh yeah, there is Don. He signed a postcard, Don Fred. I've never seen it, someone told me. And I thought, wow, what a cool name.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love that. And I guarantee you, going back in the States, in that scene in New York, there would be contacts in there somehow.
Yeah, I mean, eventually got shot. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'd say definitely.
The plot thickens.
Do you want to cut this bit off?
No.
That sounds good though.
These are all things that I overheard from people in the years. There's no
Yeah.
documentation. There's nothing.
Yeah, just a good family story.
Yeah, and I thought, if this person ever existed, the way I was presented to it, it would be cool to call this restaurant after him, because I'm definitely not challenging gangsters, but there's a bit of a challenge when someone comes in and, whoa, where's your meat? Where's your cheese? What do you mean plant-based? And I'm going, all right, whatever. I'm not going to shoot you, but...
Yeah, but then I guess, some people think vegans are kind of gangsters, they think that vegans are all radical and they're all going to break into everything. Some of us do, some of us don't, but yeah, we get painted into bad light sometimes.
That is the funniest side of the story. That you call radical someone that is so compassionate towards animals,
Yeah.
instead of calling radical someone that rapes them, mutilates them, chops them, and eat them,
I know.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think the truth is coming out in a sort of global understanding, and it's taken 400 years to understand that slavery was wrong. It's taken hundreds of years to understand that eating perhaps dogs or cats, or in some countries donkeys and horses, or dolphins and whales, is wrong. And surely this line is getting thinner and thinner and thinner, because who do you put above the line, who do you put below the line? And sure, dolphins are cute, koalas are friends, and panda, oh my god, dogs, oh, if you touch a dog you end up in jail. So it should be. But what I'm saying, and underneath the line you have all these animals that haven't done anything wrong to us to deserve that terrible fate.
Yeah.
So,
And this is the thing too, humans go, oh, we've done it all our life, it's been, the caveman did it. But what we've done is we've taken the most gentle creatures and we're treating them in the most horrific ways. These creatures like pigs and cows and chickens and goats, they're just sentient beings who are gentle. And
yeah, that makes us very, very, I don't even find the right adjective, but it's we never made slaves the Vikings, they were too strong and powerful. We're gonna pick on someone weak and we less sort of fighting back skills, and then we're gonna take advantage out of the weak, not out of the strong. And this is the way the world works.
Yeah, the reason we can exploit them is because they are so gentle.
Yep.
So sad. All right, let's circle back to your food
Sorry.
and the menu.
no, it's good
No,
because
it's
we
good.
love hearing the stories
Yeah.
and we love hearing the passion of people.
Yeah.
That's in this podcast. That's kind of what we're about.
exactly.
Is to hear what people are doing, but to also hear their passion.
Yeah, absolutely. So your food is absolutely delicious. We've already said that.
Thank you.
Non-vegans love it just as much as vegans. Both of my parents are not vegan, but every time they come to Sydney, they're like, we have to go to Don Fred. We have to see Lorenzo. And I'm like, do you want to try any other restaurants? No, let's go to Don Fred.
That fills my heart with joy.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
becoming a bit of a legend, so, which is really cool.
Yeah, they absolutely love it. So I guess, can you tell us a little bit about developing the menu and obviously transforming those Italian recipes into plant-based recipes that still taste just as good and that the non-vegans love as well?
So this has been in the making in my head and in my kitchen for a while, because it's all dishes that I wanted to eat and that I couldn't find anymore, whether it was the carbonara, whether it was meatballs, whether it was, and I started cooking at home for myself, my partner at the time, and all my vegan friends. And, so slowly I was getting, the recipes right, in the right direction. Then I always had this sort of concept in mind, even before I went vegan. I thought Sydney really needs some sort of Northern Italian street food rather than the usual beautiful. I'm not saying anything else about it, but most of the Italians in Sydney, they were from the south, so they presented that cuisine. Where here I wanted to sort of show, the focaccias, the polenta, the chunky mushrooms, the ragu, all things that are obviously more of a northerner background. And then when I decided to open this restaurant, I thought, all right, here I can, join all the dots. What I wanted to do, what I wanted to eat, and what I wanted to cook. Let's see if people will appreciate it, or let's see if I just lose money that I don't have.
Well, I think, judging by the fact that it's usually very packed in here, you're doing very well, which is...
So far, so good. We're extremely excited. When I see it full, it's not that I'm excited just from a business point of view. When I see a teenage girl dragging the parents in because it's her birthday, and they love it, and she comes to me with, tears in the eyes and said, thank you very much. My dad never wants to eat anything that is plant-based, and they actually love to hear, and we're going to come back. You made my birthday. It's really hard to deal with those emotions. It's really rewarding. Then I go in the tube, and I go, all right, now I can get upset.
So talking about things like that, can you tell us about the highs and the lows of running a small business and a vegan restaurant?
I think the heights, we already went through it, the few. The lows, take your shoes off, get comfortable, lie down, because we're going to have a long conversation. It is, at the moment, I guess Australia, but Sydney in particular, is a very, very tough market for small businesses.
Yeah.
For hospitality, even more so. At the end, it's true that people always need to eat, but a restaurant is where you go to have fun and spoil yourself. And unfortunately, in a harsh economical situation, is one of the things that you're gonna remove very quickly from your weekly habits. And cost of goods keeps going up on daily basis. You design something with tomatoes based on $8 a kilo. You design it, you put on the menu, the day after they $15 a kilo. And you certainly cannot change the prices on your menu that quick. You can maybe do it once a year or twice a year, and a few dollars here and there. You can't keep up with the electricity, with the gas, and everything that keeps going up. So that's, I guess, the biggest challenge. And, sometimes you can't focus on that because otherwise you just get let down. You just have to focus on that particular teenager that makes you happy, to have the place, busy and people loving the food. Because if you do focus on the rest, it's really hard to think I'm gonna be here excited tomorrow morning and open.
Yeah, that's really true. Thank you for
That's all
being
right. It is
vulnerable
what it
and
is.
sharing that, because I think it's one of those hidden things that the vegan community, I mean, we know about it, but hearing it directly from a business owner is something else. We all know that the purse strings are really tight at the moment and people aren't going out to eat, but you know, we're losing so many vegan places, and we all need to sort of find a way where we can to support them, because otherwise we're just not going to have all these great food options.
I want to make a point that needs to be clear to everyone. So we are vegan, and of course we focus on that, and we get absolutely destroyed when a vegan business shuts, all right? But if you know how many steakhouses and how many regular restaurants shut every single day, no one reports.
Yeah.
No one cares, but no one reports. And as a matter of fact, it's a business is shutting not because it's vegan, but just because of the things we just mentioned. And for every vegan business that shuts, so many steakhouses, so many burger joints, so many Omni restaurants have closed the same week. So
yeah, the press likes to really focus on, oh, the vegan business is shut down, veganism is going away.
Of course.
But I'd just like to make the point here, and it's something I always stand by, is vegans should always go to 100% vegan establishments and support them whenever possible. I know there are times where you might be in a different suburb and there's not enough, there's no other vegan place you can go to, you've got to go with vegan options. But we need to be supporting our vegan businesses, whether they be restaurants, whether they be goods, whether they be groceries, and you've got to support them, because otherwise we will lose them, and we're going to be going to places with vegan options, and that's not great.
It's not great. In one way, it's exciting. The most restaurants are considering vegan options, and that nobody reports. You see, when we read the papers, it's another vegan restaurant shut or whatever. Veganism is just a lie that is coming to an end. But they would never report that every single other restaurant in Sydney has got more and more and more vegan options.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't need to be reported.
Yeah.
And so we know that we're facing, and we always had, a very judgmental industry, and you know what? I couldn't care less. That's if you focus on the bad in life, you're never gonna be happy, and you're always gonna chase something that you can't reach. If you focus on the positive thing, then again, I go back to that example. Even a teenager who says thank you with wet eyes, it makes your day, makes your week, makes your month. You go home after a day of work and you look at your reviews and you just get nice reviews saying, whatever, the best birthday I've ever had, or the food is sensational. It doesn't matter to an extent what was left in the till. It doesn't matter. Your day was positive, and that's what we could focus on.
I love that. Positive mindset is so important.
I love that we've become quite philosophical here.
Yeah, sorry.
But this is perfect. Like, hearing the philosophy behind everything you do is just such a wonderful message for everybody. So yeah, everybody, please come into Don Fred and eat in Banquet.
Yeah.
Eat whatever you like.
I do want to hone in a little bit more on, as a small business, the things that you are doing to try and get through this cost of living crisis and the rising costs, because I see you having to adapt all the time, not just you but other businesses, but constantly trying to come up with new and exciting things to get people in the door. So could you tell us a little bit about those types of things that you're doing?
So one of them is what you mentioned already several times, is the Banquet. So I was having a lot of people saying, oh my God, I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to try this, I want to try that. But if they did try everything they wanted, first of all, there would have been far too much food, and then the bill would be crazy, because if you get 3 of these and 4 of those, and you're 3 or 4 people, then the bill would be something that nobody is really comfortable on weekly basis. So I wanted to come up with something that would offer a lot of food, a lot of options, a lot of different flavors, but in a sort of moderate way. And this is why I designed this Banquet, and this is why perhaps it's definitely 70 or 80% of business now. And that will help me in the ordering, that will help me in the serving, that will help me in narrowing the staff, that will help the business be more stable and definitely with less unpredictable circumstances. And another thing is obviously as well, I started doing lunches and dinner because I wanted to be open to everyone, and I thought the more you open, the more people will have the chance to come. And then you realize that in this particular location, lunch is not a thing, so it's better to focus on dinner. You're narrowing on your staff, on your labor cost, and you just focus with more energy, more happiness, and more positive outcome from 5 to 9, rather than be here all day, and then by the time 5 o'clock comes, you just want to flip a table and go home. No, not that bad, but yeah.
So what gives you hope when it comes to the future of vegan food?
Data, facts, understanding. There's not one single data that I came across that it's actually negative. Of course, you can read that in a negative way. Oh my God, Woolworths got rid of that particular brand because it wasn't selling. No. Woolworths bought the brand to make it fail because it wanted to promote
its own brand.
Its own brand. They are obviously meat-based and dairy-based. So there was no good intention from these big chains to have a plant-based growing popularity. That was working against them. It's still working against them. So that is not a negative data. The positive data is what I said before. All of your friends, the ones that have never considered plant-based eating until 5 or 4 or 6 years ago, they might have not been vegan today, but they're all trying to cut because the doctors now are saying, look, you're 50, slow down, on the meat, slow down on the cheese and this and that, and they want to get back into shape, and they realize that that fried chicken is not the best option, and yeah, I guess I've got no doubt that the world will be vegan very, very soon. Now, do I have a date? No, of course not. Is it going to be in my lifetime? Perhaps not, but that doesn't even matter. What it matters is that it's becoming so obvious to the general public that at some point the cake will be flipped. When we reach a good solid 20, 25, 30%, then we'll be much, much faster. And of course, I would love to see by the government not making things illegal, because I don't believe in that. But we need to sponsor the truth. Why can't we take children to slaughterhouses? Why is it so confronting to have them on YouTube? Why is it so wrong to tell our children how is the food made? You're serving it for dinner. I'm sure that no mom, no dad would have a problem to see a farmer talking about the oranges. You gotta pick them when they're in season, cut them, put gently in a basket. From the basket they go to the shed. From the shed they put them in the box and then deliver. There's nothing hidden, nothing that would make anybody upset. So why can't we do the same with the lamb? This is a lamb, 6 weeks old. We cut its testicles, put it upside down, put a knife through its throat. Then we skin it, probably still alive. Then we chop it in pieces, and there's your lamb chops.
Well, it's interesting.
Is that too much?
No, it's perfect.
I sort of started giggling a bit because I'm thinking, when you just say it like that, it's so obvious that people just have the disconnect.
But
I
think the thing is too, and it's interesting you bring that up because we both do work for Vegan Australia, and my job is the vegan education campaign that we've got going. And by the time this episode comes out, it will actually be launched, and it's taking vegan education into the high schools. So it's counteracting all the meat, dairy and eggs propaganda that's being pushed into schools, where people think, oh, this is just normal, this is what happens, you know, they have a happy life here and they wander along and they go
So
into this
happy.
big shed and then they come out packaged in plastic and something humane has happened into that big shed. So
Which we can't show you.
yeah, which we can't show you because it doesn't actually happen. So that's what we're doing with the vegan education program, is actually telling the truth. So it'll be very interesting to see what the take-up is, and that really coincides with what you're saying, showing people exactly what's happening and getting rid of the propaganda that's been out there for so many decades.
It's a religion. It's
Yeah.
a religion that we've been forced into from very young age, and none of our parents did it for any malicious purpose. Of course not, and none of them is doing it today. But who is doing it for a malicious purpose? Is the industry.
Mm.
You know, is the industry.
Yeah.
They want to control. They want to make money, and then and so on. And we not agree with that, and we're doing something different.
Yeah.
Very true. So let's look to the future of Don Fred. Do you have any big plans or anything exciting happening soon?
Yes, I'm leaving for 2 weeks.
Oh, and where are you off to?
I'm just going to Bali. I was really going to go to Italy and see my family, but at the moment I can't take 4 or 5 weeks off, and going for 10 days or 2 weeks in Europe, it's really doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to stick to running away from the cold in the winter, and you know, and be by the beach for a little bit. Now, jokes on the side. In the last 6 to 10 months, we've been growing on constant numbers. That makes me feel very comfortable, and also makes me think of what next step might be. There's few things that I want to do. I do want to start producing some of food in a way that it's available in supermarkets. Definitely not the big chains, but more on a small scale, whether it's a carbonara sauce, whether it's a bolognese sauce, might as well be the meatballs. I don't know yet what, but I think it's a good thing that someone that lives or a busy mum or something that can just go grab it and make it at home in 5 minutes. I think it's very, very important to step into the side of the plant-based food provider. I can't hide the truth. I also would love to see soon a second location. Not because, then again, I don't do things out of ego, but you know, not everybody, especially coming from the east, or can approach Newtown. There's no parking, traffic's crazy, and I understand that. And you know, if I find something that I'm already looking at, but you know, with a sort of size, humble, you know, more towards the eastern suburbs, will make me first of all travel less, because I live in Bondi, so probably I'm going to focus on the second location more. No, but I'm saying, you know, I think we can shoot a bigger crowd.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I would be tempted to say, please do something up in Hornsby, because there's no vegan places.
I don't know the
North
area.
Shore.
I really don't.
It doesn't. I don't think it works up there. When I came back to Sydney in 2021, I was thinking, oh, I hope the North Shore, because that's where my mum lives, and I came back because she's not so well. And I thought, surely in the 25 years I've been away, the vegan scene on the North Shore must be better. No, there's basically 2 places in Chatswood now. That's it. It's pretty sad.
2 is better than nothing.
2 is better than nothing.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
be positive
in the
again.
western suburbs and there's nothing there. I can maybe go to a Lebanese restaurant and get falafels.
Yeah. So that's why we end up in Newtown all the time.
Yeah.
Because Newtown, of course, is kind of the hub of the vegan scene in Sydney.
Trust me, I didn't want to do Newtown to begin with. You know, been at Gigi for so many years, we're all friends with all the others. I felt like I'm just gonna create more of, not competition, it would be the wrong, but make people confused. Okay, so and I wasn't looking at Newtown, but then I found this spot that is completely far away from the one they call the Vegan Mile. And as a matter of fact, the majority of our customers are not people that spend in Newtown a lot of time, like, you know, they do it down the other end. And I realized that if you do come from the city, or if you do come from Surrey Hills, Paddington, or even the inner west, like Leichhardt, or it's much easier to get here, much easier, and I wouldn't call it easy to find a parking spot, less traffic because you're coming from that way. So at the end was a good decision. I was actually looking at Surrey Hills before I opened this, and we couldn't really find what we wanted. And then I fell in love with this little shop. I was excited for it to be so far away from the crowd. I knew it would have taken me longer to stand out because people don't walk from there to here. Train station is a bit further. I understood, but it also gave me the opportunity to become a destination. If you do open something next to the train station, besides the fact that it will cost you 3 times as much in rent, and I didn't have a massive budget, but you also, yes, of course, you have a bigger foot traffic, but the majority of the people will be, where's your chicken? Where's your beef? What do you mean dairy-free? It means that it doesn't have any gluten, whatever. And then, I will drag the energy down. If not anyone else, my energy down. And if I'm here with low energy because I can't be bothered replying these questions over and over and over again, especially when they ask with an attitude. Because if you ask me with that attitude, I'll be happy to sit down with you and take you through the whole scenario if I have time. But if you have an attitude while you ask me that, I really got no time for it. I really got no time for judgment. I do appreciate a feedback, an opinion, not necessarily at this point in my life, So tell me what you think about the food. It might be negative. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make it better. I'm going to try to understand what I did that wasn't for your taste buds. Well, if you have an opinion, it would have been better if it was chicken. This is an opinion that I'm not interested in listening to, and you can tell your mom, your dad, your friends, we're not interested.
So this has just been an incredibly wonderful and insightful episode, and we've covered so much stuff, and I just love it. And
yeah, me too.
Sorry, I talk too much.
No.
We've learned so much about you.
We always say when we get to this point in the episode, we love doing this podcast because we hear people's stories and it uplifts us. We walk away feeling so good. So I think we kind of do it more for us than anything else.
It's basically therapy for us.
It is, because we see so much of the bad in what we do. So it's lovely to hear all the positive stories. Especially from people like yourself. But for anyone who is not in Sydney, and here's the other thing again, if you are in Sydney, you must get to Don Fred, I'll keep saying that. But for anyone who's not in Sydney, how can they support you?
Well, I think the best way to support me is to support your nearest plant-based eatery. Don't worry about Don Fred if you can't come here. Worry about veganism. Worry about supporting as much as you can, talk to everybody as much as you can, learn how to cook as much as you can to support their growth. Don Fred is just a drop in the ocean. We're trying to do our best. Hopefully we're going to stick around for another little bit, but it's really, it can be focused on me, and it can be focused on us. It needs to be focused in what matters, and at this point, it's the animals.
I'm a bit speechless.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I've got goosebumps right now. That's just beautiful.
No, it's true, but also maybe it's time to have a trip to Sydney and come to Don
Sure,
Fred.
if you want to do that,
Yeah.
Make sure you take a few days off and visit all the other ones as well, because they're all beautiful. We're all different from each other.
Yes.
There's no point for me now to name them because there's so many, but you can go from an Asian to an Asian sort of food to Mexican. So there's everything. So if you come to Sydney from far away, calculate your savings and all this stuff. Trying to be here for a week and trying to not just support everyone, but also indulge yourself with everything we've got.
And of course,
we got the best pizzeria in Australia, of course.
Yeah,
Gigi.
yeah, Gigi's is awesome. Yeah.
We got great coffees like the Shift or Buddha Bowl. We got so many good options. There would be a pity just to come for Don Fred or just to come for another one. Just have your week in Sydney, and just put on 3 kilos.
And we can't forget, of course, that we have Australia's first vegan pub.
Yes.
a fully
Yeah.
vegan pub, which is again
Mama
not
Bees.
too far, not too far from here. So the Chipper Hotel,
Yeah.
awesome place to go to as well.
Yeah. As I said, we're all great for something different. We all need to be supported. But surely, if you live far away from Sydney, there is someone doing, maybe just as an option, but the right thing, and try to find them, try to support them. And I can never forget, sorry, this is a very short story, but I found it very funny, but also interesting. I ride a lot motorcycles, right? And I was in the middle of the nowhere for days, and I had my own food. Then I was coming back to Sydney. At this point, I'm probably 100 kilometers northwest from Tyree, and I'm starving. Then it's nearly 8 o'clock at night, and I'm reaching a little town that I can't remember the name of. And I'm thinking, I hope that the cereal is open and I can get some bread, peanut butter, whatever I need to eat. I get there, nothing is open. There was a Woolies already shut at 8 o'clock. It was like 8:05. I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna die tonight. I was so hungry. Anyway, to cut story short, I see a little Asian takeaway down the road with a little neon light. And I thought, surely these guys can do something for me. And I walk inside. Now, I'm 100 kilometers northwest from Tyree, right? I walk inside and I see this elderly lady, beautiful, and I see all the food exposed there. And, there's chickens, meat. But she's cooking at the moment. So I'm going, oh, could you please do these noodles? Are there rice noodles? Yeah, please, that noodles with a bit of cabbage, bok choy. Okay, have you got any stock that is going on beef? If you don't, just use water. And she's looking at me in a weird way. And I'm thinking, oh wow, she doesn't even understand what I need and what I want. And she goes, why don't you just choose from the vegan menu? I turned around, vegan. I felt at the same time so stupid and so excited. It was incredible. And I turned around, vegan menu with 20 items.
Oh my goodness.
How amazing. How amazing. That's
How
incredible.
amazing. And I look at her and I'm go, look, I'm truly sorry. And then I felt even more stupid to say I didn't think that you, because are so far away from the city in a small, Asian takeaway, you would know. So obviously that made me even more silly to even think of something like that. I just got excited and I ordered everything. But then again, if you're not in Sydney, if you're not around a main metropolitan area, surely there is someone that is doing the right thing. Go and support them.
Yeah.
Then when you come and Sydney, support us.
Good message. I really like it. Thank you so much.
No,
Lorenzo.
thank you guys. I'm
It's
excited.
been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I'm back here for dinner tonight with
Yay!
some of my friends. So
Beautiful.
see you soon.
I'm tempted to stay for lunch.
Well,
Thank you
yes.
very much, guys. It was really, really good talking to you.
So
Yeah.
have you got any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Oh, wisdom, not at all. I like what I've written on the wall over there. You can't change the world, but you can change yours. So don't worry about the big steps. Don't worry about... Stop eating animals. That's enough for you. And then if 8 billion people did that, we're definitely on the right track. Worry about your things. Don't argue. Don't lose friendships over it. I know sometimes it's tough. Your family loves you. You love them. You love your friends. They just didn't get it yet. Don't lose your relationship over it. Don't lose your family love over it, because sometimes that's happen. Focus on the good. Keep cooking your meal. Keep feeding them your meal. And of course, they're going to throw the bacon in the air and say, ha, 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 ha. Whatever. Don't focus on that. Focus on the day that it will say, wow, these mushrooms with potatoes are really, really good and filling. So focus on that day. It'll come.
Yeah, look, we can't thank you enough, Lorenzo,
Thank
for
you.
being with us today. And it was so lovely being here in Donfred. Sorry, of course, we got a bit of traffic noise out the back because it is on the main road, but,
Wait until I open the window.
But no, I think everybody will be hearing quite clearly. So thank you, Lorenzo, again.
Thank you very much.
This has been
You
just
too.
such an inspiring episode. I'm kind of lost for words because there's so much wonderful...
Because I said them all.
Well, there's so
I
much,
spoke too much there.
so much wonderful information that
Yeah.
you've brought through into here, and I love your philosophies on everything that we've talked about. So, folks, this does bring us to the end of yet another episode of the Vegan Compass podcast. thank you for being here with us, and thanks for tuning in. Please share this with your friends. Please let everybody know about the Vegan Compass podcast. Sometimes it's a bit hard to say. After the coffee, I should be able to say that really well.
I won't even try.
So yeah, please share it with your friends. Please share our posts everywhere, because we really want to reach out to a wide audience.
And if you're enjoying the show and all of our guests, it would be great if you could leave a review as well, because the ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify does help to push the podcast out to more people.
Very important.
Yeah. So thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mackenzie.
guys.
And thank you to all of our listeners.
Yep. And we will see you in our next episode.
See ya.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Vegan Compass podcast, unveiling truths, inspiring change.
Be sure to follow us on social media at @thevegancompass_podcast. See you next time.